Okay. Hi Chris, sorry I haven't done one in a little while. Just try and do a quick one here. So I'm just trying to remember where we were. So I think you've already done something similar to this, where it flies through, and hits our synapse, which I think is cool. It's a bit weird to hear how we've got it speeding up. Seems to go a bit too fast there. But let's put in something that we're going to follow. So we've got general stuff here, and then maybe at this point we're following and coming up between here and here. Maybe we pick up a neuron like here, which is going to take us to the synapse. That kind of makes sense. What we're doing 30 frames a second, so we've got 10 seconds here. So if I drag these out, so we hit it at 10 seconds. So now I'm going to pick up that neuron and hit that. That's cool. I think that's cool. So we've seen the general scene, we're in a brain, pick up this other neuron, which takes us to the synapse. Yeah. Okay, so let's build how we're going to get there. So I think the camera at this point probably sees like the center of one of these networks and then follows the light to this one. So if I turn off the clone and build in this guy, so yeah, something feels wrong there. No, we're alright, I think we're alright. So yeah, so at this point here, camera's maybe going to be a little closer. I'm just thinking, I'm going to want to follow, there's my synapse, I'm going to want to follow a path between these two. So I think maybe pop that there, a little bit to the side. So the camera at this point will be a little bit further in. So I think it's quite tempting to move your camera to over here to get close to this guy. But once you start making your camera more complicated, then you get into a world of hurt. So sometimes, yeah, you just need to be careful about what you're moving. Sometimes. So it would be nice if the camera does look over to it a little here. Do we have a target for our camera? So cameras, just a thing about cameras. It's very easy to spend days trying to sort out camera movements, and it's horrible. I don't know a good or a simple way of doing cameras. But I do know that the more complex you make it, the more trouble you're going to get into. And nowadays, one of the guys that I work with is very good at cameras, and I need him to give me a tutorial on it, really. But he just uses this very simple setup of a target and a camera, and he always does this, and he says it's old school, but I think the reason why he's good at it is because it's simple. So let's just keep it there, whiz it back a bit, and then so I want the camera to be looking in that direction at 110, and then 0. So you just keyframe the target with the camera. And then let's keyframe the camera is here. And yeah, so you're best working with them in tandem and trying to do exactly the same sort of motion with the target as you are with your camera. So I'm very aware at the moment that the camera does this big ease in to this point. So at 206, the camera hasn't reached its destination yet. That's the destination there. Whereas I've got the target reaching the destination at 206. So something's... I think it seems right for now, but we could have the target keyed here and then move these out. So 206 is there, and then it eases in with the camera. But we're just doing rough at the moment anyway. Another thing that I really like is to try and get your keyframes on like whole values, like 200 or 210 or 205, just because it makes it easier to find them. Sometimes you're scrabbling around on your timelines, and especially if you've got your bigger timeline and already you can see keys are going everywhere. And if you want to retime things, then it's easier just to see that, okay, I've got all of these keyframes happening at 110. I just want to adjust all of those for all the objects, for the target, for the camera, for whatever else is going on. And it's just easier if you're consistently putting them at key positions. If you got like the target is on 206, the camera's on 205, etc., then you just get into a mess. So just try and be organized with the just try and make things easier for yourself. Okay, so flying into this guy, follow the synapse to here. And okay, so I'm just going to compose this shot exactly how I want it. So let's just get the camera exactly where I want it, and the synapse. So this light is going to be going into the neuron, the nucleus of the neuron here. So everything's coming left to right, so it may be nice to have that up here so you can see the light going through the synapse. But at the same time, when I'm zoomed in on the synapse, it would be good to have it in the background. So just going to perhaps put it that side. So I'm perhaps at some point going to zoom in on this and have it in the background. And likewise, if the synapse itself is maybe kind of that kind of thing. Just trying to get an understanding of how this composition is going to work. So you know about thirds and putting things on thirds, and there's also the golden spiral thing as well, which is useful, and it's worth bearing these things in mind because they do really work. So golden spiral, well, you can see that's where I've put it just naturally. The other thing to bear in mind is that you can't really, it's difficult to compose this because I can see what's going on in the top and bottom, so you can properly darken that, then you get a better idea of what's going on in the frame. Okay, so let's just position this synapse. That's kind of going, and then it's going to come into here somehow. That'll do. It's a bit annoying that we have to swing all the way around to get there. Whereas ideally it would be here. You see, the camera would be set here and everything else would be swung around. So instead of swinging the camera, let's swing the scene. So let's just juggle things around a little bit. So let's get rid of that keyframe where it all swings around. And let's organize the synapse and the neuron. So that would be, instead swing them around. Now at the same time I'm conscious that where's my origin gone? Because I like to have my sort of point of interest at the origin as much as possible. So you can see here the synapse has swung away from the origin, so let's just try and bring it back a little bit. I think the reason for this is just convenience, because whenever I create a new object, it just drops it at the origin. So what I can do is just temporarily drop that in there and then zero this out and then pull it up again. So my synapse is bang on. Let's just leave it in there for a moment so that we can rotate things around it. I'm going to generate a second camera here because I probably want to cut to a different shot at some point, which would be really close in on the synapse. And you see, when I'm really close in on the synapse, I'd quite like to still be able to make that connection to the neuron. So it might be like this. So that I can see what's going on here and also read how it connects to the neuron behind. I think that's as good as it's going to get, to be honest. So let's just go back to here. I can turn off cameras in the view just to clear it up a little. Okay, so that's alright. So now let's just adjust the position of these. And it's just this like process of toing and froing between different things and not doing one thing at a time, but working out the overall picture. See, now I'm kind of swinging everything around again, which I don't want to do. I've just got too many keys on this. Probably just need to get a little closer for that cut shot. Where is my target? Yeah, so you want your target to feel as though it's getting towards the synapse so that the cut is going to work. yeah, that'll do. See what I mean? You can spend forever on camera work, and it does make a difference. So it is actually worth it. But you can get, it's very easy to get in the right model with it as well. Let's just have a look at the camera composition again. Just that neuron here. And perhaps even the golden spiral can quite a way out. That's really yeah, it's a little far out. But, I wonder if we could have a look at thirds. Yeah, perhaps we just try and get the synapse on a third. And then the spiral, the neuron on the, something like that. Yeah, that'll really show us what's going on. I have all my cameras keyed there. Okay, yeah, I'm happy with that now. So my next shot is this camera's now a little wrong, but I think that will work as well. So maybe that kind of thing. Just turn on the cameras again. So this one, composition. And grid. Yeah, I think that would be quite cool too. I'm not sure whether they're cut together very well. Tunk, tunk. Yeah, so this second shot might need a bit of animating to that point, but I think it's looking good. Okay, so it's good enough anyway. So now let's decide how this guy is going to link into this guy. So there could be a branch coming off this that goes into there. Really, what I'm doing in trying to orient this is trying to read it. So there, it comes to silhouettes, down to silhouettes really. So looking at this silhouette, it kind of looks a bit weird. I'm getting that chicken thing again. So you're just trying to find a silhouette that looks interesting but not weird, and can tell the story of this going into the grow it a little. Yeah, I think maybe something a bit like this. I think we probably have to go back into geometry a bit to improve things a little. Or we could have this, instead of branching off that, it could go directly in, I suppose. But it's not too bad like this, so maybe grow it a little bit more and it could connect into here. This branch is getting in the way, but yeah, maybe it goes into that. Yeah, cool, that will do. No doubt my camera goes right through this, but I'm going to kill this guy because it's getting in the way. Let's kill it now. Connected. Okay, so now I can link up my synapse to here for a start, and I can also make a connection between these two into the other end. I'm going to have to drop off and get on with some work, but I think that's starting to work. And you see, what I would do with this is, let's just build a spline very quickly. This is going to be all wrong, but just plop it in. Okay, so that is approximately the right direction. Let's just fix that to position. And then obviously the other end is miles out. So we want that to come way out here. synapse is going to come up there. And then middle section. It's coming up there somewhere. Okay, and what I do want is for the camera to kind of look around this point, to look at this neuron, and then to follow where it's going. So we can add the noise to the spline in the same way as we did last time, in a similar way. Add a point here, create a point. Yeah, so picking up the light, and then it's going up, and my camera is going to follow it. It's going to look up to the left as it comes past, and then it's going to zip around to there. Okay, so let's just generally get the camera in again. So we want it to ease into position. So from about there maybe. So let's just put 2 keys on that. And bring them out. Just try and get the timing of this. Looks up, follows it in. Not too bad. So then at some point in the middle here, I want my target to be up there. Let's just see how that relates to the spline. So I'm going to follow it. And then again in the middle, target comes down a bit perhaps. So I'm going to watch it, watch it, watch it, watch it, watch it, boom. Yeah, do you see where I'm going with it now? And so that's got it in roughly. Before I do any more tweaking of my camera, I want to get more detail in of how that branch is going to work. So I think if you can take it from here in terms of building that branch and putting the noise into it, connecting it into the synapse, and then connect the other end of the synapse into here. And then we can refine the camera, and we'll also, and then, you know, we can put all the background guys in, and then do the jump cut to the second to the second shot. But yeah, I think that's going to be quite cool. It needs sped up a bit there, but like I say, until you've got the branch in and the light, then you can't really refine your camera any further than that. So we need to build up the geometry a bit more. Okay, I'm going to leave it there because I've got some work to do. Cheers. Speak to you later.